Here's a fun fact about the King James Bible. King James actually did not translate the Bible. It was about 47 scholars and translators that King James actually hired. Like he commissioned them is the word that they used. And he hired these 47 scholars and translators to take the current production that they had of the Bible, and he hired these people to actually translate everything from Greek, Latin, and Hebrew into English. Okay, so King James, he wasn't the best person. If you actually look into the history of how King James was born and like his upbringing, he went through some pretty rough stuff. But that's actually some facts behind the King James Bible. He didn't write it, nor did he translate it either, but he did fund the entire project for the King James Bible to be written from Hebrew, Latin, and Greek and translated into English. And it took a few years from the early 1600s, and it was actually finished in 1611, I believe. But even though King James wasn't the best person, it just goes to show that God will choose some of the most unqualified people to do some of the biggest works that have ever been done, because the King James Bible is one of the most popular Bibles, right? So before I saw your comment, I was reading the Bible. That's what I do every single morning. But it's also really important to look at his disciples that he chose. If you look into the backgrounds of all of the disciples that when Jesus was, sent to earth as the Son of God, all the disciples he chose, they weren't perfect, righteous people. And that's because Jesus will leave the 99 to save the one. And like he doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called, right? Like all of us are sinners, John 1:10. And if you don't agree with that, then you're lying to yourself and you're lying to him. You're calling God a liar. But it just goes to show, like, sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. But the more we get into the Word and the more that we learn and be forever students, the better we will be. We will be grown into different versions of ourselves. And that's where the newness of life comes. Because when you give your life to Christ, then you become a new life, right? So there's just some fun facts for you guys this morning. I saw this comment and I actually have done a quite a bit of studying. So um, he didn't write the Bible. He hired other people to do it. And that's just how God be working sometimes. He'll use the most unlikely people to do some of his biggest works. All right. I love y'all. Have a great day.